Welcome back to 15 with Fosca, the podcast, and to part 2 of my chat with Argentinian writer and translator Andrea Zurlo. In this second half of our interview, we dive a little deeper into Andrea's story, talk about the creative process, and what's in store for the future for her. Please remember to subscribe, follow, and share. It really means the world to me. Thank you so much. Grazie mille e buon ascolto.
I want to talk, it's a departure from your first novel.
Yes, in some way, yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that book? And I'm not going to hazard the title because I don't speak Spanish. I never studied Spanish. I'm sorry. I apologize. I studied French and Italian, but I'll say the English title, which is a beautiful title. You didn't say the title of the new book.
Oh, the new book is, at the moment, the title is All is Transient.
All is Transient, which is a beautiful title, as is the title of your book, The Land at Rest in Winter.
Yes.
And I wanted to hear a little more about that one because it is set in Argentina during the Peronist government and the military dictatorship. And it's from the point of view of a young girl whose name is never revealed. And it's about growing up surrounded by violence under a suffocating dictatorship in a society steeped in indifference.
Yes.
Tell me more about that book.
Okay, that book, the title in Spanish is El reposo de la tierra durante el invierno. And it was finalist to the Planeta award. That is an important award. And so I was very proud of this book. It was inside of me for more than 20 years. And I was there with this. I tried to write this book a lot of times. I'd say, okay, no, this is not good. No. I was full of rage. Virginia Woolf said in one of her beautiful books, she said, you cannot write from rage. And it's true. Because you have to take distance, to put distance between you and the facts. And when there's the distance, you can look at things with a cold head.
Yeah.
You go there and, okay, just look at facts. So I wrote this book in 2 months. Okay, because it came to me like this. It was like just, wow, in a minute. And so 2 months, and then the first draft, at least in 2 months. And it's about this girl that she lives all her lives in a dictatorship, because in Argentina, society, all the 20th century was about coup d'etat and very weak democracies.
Yeah.
She tried to explain this world, this society, through her eyes, the eyes of a child. And the language of the book developed as she grows up.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Because the first part, she speaks in as a girl, and ask herself questions that a girl can ask herself. But then when she arrives to a teenager, and it's completely changed. And then when we see her as a young adult, okay, it's still different. And I tried to convey this sensation, this sense of disappointment, of understanding that your world, that your life, it's quite different from that of other people. It's not biographical, but that's not my family. But it has obviously many things of my family. But all the things that I tell in the book really happen.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, in my family, we have an uncle that was menaced by, he was under threat by the terrorists. Another that was taken by the army, to disappeared for a whole year, then reappear, thanks God. So you were there by two forces.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's nothing worse than when a government is state terrorism.
Yeah.
Because when they have the power to be very strong as terrorists, and you live under two terrorisms, and there were people disappearing just because they think in a different way, and they try to you try to convince you that it was right in that way. So they try to destroy critical and free thinking. Yes, you try to destroy freedom of speech. Okay, one of my teachers disappeared. But she doesn't disappear. She was killed. She was a history teacher. And yes, she I later I had the chance to talk with people who had suffered a lot. There was a person I knew that she used to be a teacher, a literature teacher, and there were a lot of things that were censored.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of Spanish poets that were censored, and so she teaches. Okay, this. Mm-hmm. She taught these poems, and she had a lot of problems. And thanks God, she was
okay.
Yes, she was okay, but she has a lot of problems.
How was the book received in Argentina and in the rest of the world? I mean, this is a pretty, risky business. I mean, you're talking about I know it's a work of fiction, but you're talking about a reality. You just cited a lot of examples that unfortunately are also relevant to today's world.
Yes.
I wish I would not say that, but unfortunately I can't not say it. And so how was the book received? I mean, obviously it was nominated, it was shortlisted for this important prize, this important Spanish prize, but what was the reaction in Argentina and in the rest of the world?
It was not, okay. It was first published in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. And I went there for the presentation. It was, yes, they were very curious about what, because they ignored that reality. Mm. And then in Argentina, it was published in 2019. So just some months before the COVID. So I was not able to go to the Buenos Aires book fair to present the book. And then I went there to present it in 2022. And unfortunately, my publisher died. She was the one who loved my book. And the person, that it was her son that, go on with the company, he was a bit like, okay, but it's, it's very, just a theme that is so delicate, we are a bit so sensible to this. The thing that surprised me is that many people, even my sister, asked me, but how did you realize that we were living that way? Yes. It's incredible.
That seems such a strange...
Yes, but a lot of people ask me that.
And this is sort of the indifference that you talk about.
Yes, of
which
course.
Is extremely dangerous.
Yes, and it is still a society, the Argentinian society that way. they are not. They did not build a community. So, in spite of all they got gone through, but no, and this indifference, and for instance, the 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 mother in the book has something of my mother, and she was unfortunately from a generation that they had lived almost all their life under dictatorship. So they were, okay, no, no, don't express yourself. Just let it be. Just don't. No, be careful. Okay, there was no freedom of speech. There was nothing for them. And there was also the Catholic religion that helped in all this, because I was for 12 years of my life in a Catholic school. So it was not a great thing. There was a priest that was the director of the school, that he was later accused of having helped the army, the militaries, to accuse people, to give names.
Yeah,
he gave names of students and persons who were a bit lefty. And so, yes, the book talk about this, but all the books about that period in Argentina are about the desaparecidos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking that when you were talking.
But I don't want, I say, okay, there were, that. Okay, the desaparecidos, but there was also the people, normal people, living their normal lives and having their normal lives destroyed by this government, by this regime, because it was that.
Exactly.
And I'm very, nowadays, I'm worried about the world, about this violence in the right wing. Because I know that.
Because you lived it.
Yes.
Because you lived it and you wrote this book, which I just want to say I think was a very courageous act. I mean, even though it's fictional, it's still representing a reality that was there, that you were living and observing through your character. It comes out, but I think it was a courageous choice. But I also think that you didn't have a choice. You said that the book was within you for, however many years. And when you finally had some distance from the rage, it just poured out of you. And I'm glad it did. And I how much I want to read this book. So I'm thinking, it needs to be translated into English as soon as possible. You write many things in many, many different genres, which is fascinating to me as someone who's really only written one little book and a manuscript and a couple of other things. But your other published book is called The Ineffectiveness of Death, and that's totally different from this book and totally different from the new one, because it's science fiction and it's a thriller. And so I was hoping you could talk a bit about that book, but also about, what your favorite type of writing is. Because you do span so many, because you do so much. You write books, short stories, screenplays, you span from historical fiction to, science fiction to, I don't even know how, I guess you would categorize this book on the
speculative fiction.
Speculative fiction. So tell us a little bit about your other book, and also what do you love to write the most?
Oh, well. Okay, this new book is, the title in Spanish is La ineficacia de la muerte. And it's about a woman that is involved in the project of a phone that reads minds, your mind.
Which is not actually too
but
distant from
I wrote this book. So 5 years before Elon Musk placed a chip in the in the brain of a person. So, but I'm sure that this is how it can develop. Technology is aiming to that.
Oh, yeah.
Because the only place where we can have privacy is our brains. It's the last place for us to keep things, to have and I think that they're saying, okay, let's go for that. Let's go for that because, and the book is about the fact of, it's part of the book is set here in Florence.
I didn't know that.
Yes, its part is in Amsterdam and then Florence. Most of the book is in Florence.
Nice.
And because there are this character that is a nobleman, and he has a kind of it's not a sect. It's a group called Sol Invictus, and it fights against the inhumanity of technology. And so, okay, he's involved in all this, and there's a lot of things happening in this book. And the fact is that this woman is involved in this, and her brain connects to this phone. But the information that's not going out, in and out from the phone. And in the phone, he finds the mind of another woman. So, yes, it's just a bit, it sounds a bit complicated, but it is not when...
It sounds amazing. It sounds, unfortunately, a little like possible.
Yes, it's rather possible,
Yeah.
I think that I feel comfortable writing different genres because I read a lot of things. I was 15 and I was reading Borges.
Borges is one of my favorite writers. Although I think I told you, I was like, Borges means a lot to me. He was an important writer for me as well when I was when I was a teenager and in college.
Yes, and you can see that he wrote poems. He wrote, everything, a lot of different stuff, and I love science fiction. I love speculative fiction, but I love also to go into historical fiction because I get me the chance to search, to go and to look for things and to inform myself about what had happened, and so all that. I love all that. I love writing.
Yeah,
I don't think that you can. It's like telling a painter, "Oh no, you have to paint only that style. You are impressionist. Okay, don't think of another thing." No, they all develop. You think of you can think of Picasso. Okay,
absolutely.
Yes, he was his painting when he was 20. It was not his painting when he was 90.
Not at all. Not at all.
So I think that for a writer, it should be the same. You can, I love writing fast fiction or short stories. And yes, just the fact of the act of writing.
Yeah.
I don't think that you can say, "Oh no, you have to write that. That is what you have to write," because the publisher finds out that you have to write that, try to impose that you have to write only that, because your readers won't accept you from any other type of writing from you. But that is business.
Yeah, that is business. This is art.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you like me, we talked about this a little at the beginning of the podcast, but, I'm curious to know a little more about how living in Florence as a writer has been for you. Sort of, it's a city, you and I talked about this just yesterday, but about all the famous writers who've, come through Florence, who've been inspired by Florence, whether their stories be directly related to the city or not. But it is a city that has a long literary tradition. And I'm curious to know for you what the city has given you as a writer and maybe what's lacking.
Well, what's beginning with what's lacking. What's lacking is that, okay, if I were in Spain, obviously it would be easier for me because I write in Spanish, and
Right.
so it would have been easier even to present a book because it's just a bit hard. That is what's lacking to me. What I received, well, I live in an international community,
Yeah.
and that gives you a lot.
Yeah, it does.
If you're open-minded, if you love different languages, if you love to interact with people, interface with people having different cultures, that is great. And Florence is a good place for that. And it's a very inspiring place too. You go, the place we're here now, it's very inspiring. Everything is inspiring here.
Yeah.
Story, it's a city that is overlapped with different things. You can think about it all time, but it's a place, it's a very human place. I think that, in fact, in my book, I posted this person, fighting for humanity, because I think that Florence is the right place for that.
Yeah.
And we know that because we live here and we see the protest and we see everything that is going on here. It was the first place to cancel the
Death
penalty.
Yeah.
A
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't think your average person knows that. That's huge.
Yes. So it's a place that gives you a lot too.
Yeah.
So it's inspiring. It's you can ask yourself, oh wow, well, D.H. Lawrence published here. As I told you yesterday,
we were talking about that yesterday about D.H. Lawrence. Yeah,
published here her Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Yeah,
and why? Because it was censored in UK, but here he published it.
Yeah.
So, it's a place of freedom, I think.
I really like what you said, and we're getting to the end of the podcast, but it's related what you just said to a little project that you and I have been talking about, because we scheme all the time. Like, for everyone out there, just so you know, we met again. I said at the beginning of the podcast about a year ago, and recently we've really just started brainstorming, and we have all these great ideas, and we've been talking a little bit about how we can bring our Florence and our Italy to more travelers coming to the country. And I think what you just said is so critical, because that's exactly at the core of what we've been talking about, that kind of humanity, the inspiration, the creativity, community. So do you want to talk a little bit about our idea?
Yes. I would call
one
it...
of our ideas?
One of our
many ideas.
I could call it the smart traveler.
Mm-hmm. The smart traveler.
Smart traveler.
Yeah.
I see a lot of tourists. Okay, we are suffering this over-tourism here in Florence. So let's say that over-tourism is people looking at their phones and not looking at the things they have around them, not understanding. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that when you travel, you have to understand.
Yeah,
you have to get to the core of things to try to understand. So our idea is trying to show people, as many people are saying here now, my Florence, my Italy, my Tuscany. No, it's not our Florence, it's not our Italy. It's, let's say that it's full immersion in the Italian culture. The Italian culture is rather complex.
Very.
Because we are talking about a puzzle. Italy, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle made of many pieces that were put together in late 19th century.
Not very long ago
Not
at all.
very long ago. There was every region has its dialect. And so you have this puzzle that is wonderful. But it's a puzzle of people, of culture, of languages, and also of landscapes.
I was just thinking the same thing. You have geography, of food,
Of everything.
of customs, of
yes,
beliefs.
As we said yesterday, Florence, Italy, is not just spaghetti, pizza, and a glass of wine.
Yeah.
That's not. So what we want is, what we desire, what we would love to do is to offer people to live this possibility, to be a smart traveler. It's a kind of understanding and building your own idea of a place. And I think that's our project.
That's our little project. And so stay tuned, because it's going to be coming hopefully soon, and we're thinking about it. And as I was saying to you yesterday, I think a lot of people are ready for this, because I think people are starting to resist their phones and social media and seeking out something much more authentic and real that I think insiders like us can provide. And, you and I are also committed to creativity and the idea of, humanity, and really interacting with people again as inspiration, know. And
I think that people want to fly away from influencers.
Yeah, I think so too. No, I think so too. And I think, as I said, there's this counter movement happening, and I think our timing is right. One last question for you, and it's the one that I always ask on the podcast, but what's next for you, Andrea?
Okay. I can say that you can talk. I can talk about myself and say, okay, I would love to improve my working life. I would love my kids to do this, to do that, and to find their way, and everything like that. But I think that we are in this planet that is a kind of a body, a system, an organism breathing on its own. We are breathing all together. So what's coming next for me, it was coming for everybody here in this little blue ball, in the outskirts of universe.
Yeah.
I think that it's not just thinking about oneself, but thinking about humanity. What's coming next for us? And we are in a moment that is very difficult, and I think that we have to think of this, that we are just not even a second of the words of the universe history. We're nothing. And so we are nothing. We need to think of being like, a little thing in this world that is, together with others, can build something good. But we have to aim to build something good, and to do something good. Going back to Borges, he used to say, when they ask him, okay, your work would live forever. And he replies, okay, no, my work will live until the sun eat the earth, until we disappear the planet. But we're going anyway to disappear. So it's not important, he meant, it's not important if my work lasts. The important thing is what I give to this. Mm-hmm. What I'm giving to this planet, what I'm giving to this reality, what we're building. I think that's coming next for me, is what's coming next for all of us. It's not about talking about me, but talking about us.
Yeah.
I think that we have to, the next thing is to do this, because there's problems, there's a climatic, crisis, there's all this going on, there are wars, and there are a lot of injustice. Mm. So thinking about myself, I'm just,
You're just writing books.
I'm transient.
No, you're all is transient. To get back to the title of your book, which I can't wait to read in full. I am very grateful to you for reinforcing that message. I think our whole conversation has been a lot about humanity. I think, we talk about this all the time, what we want to do with our work,
Yes.
and wanting, whether that be the podcast or Substack, our novels, but to give people more humanity, to give them joy and escape, something, what we can do.
Some hope.
Right? An escape, hope, humanity, again, a return to humanity, a return to this kind of one-on-one conversation, looking each other in the eyes. We were just talking about it outside with Lorenzo at the beginning, but, looking into each other's eyes, having a conversation, sitting next to someone, engaging the same way you did with that wonderful woman that you met at the bus station when you first set foot in the Veneto. We're losing that.
Yes, of course.
And it would be a terrible, terrible shame to lose that, because we need it now more than ever.
Yes, I completely agree with you.
We always have great conversations. I'm so glad today that we were able to get one.
Thank you a lot, because I love to be here, and I love to talk to your audience.
I want you to come back, because I think we just, scratched the surface talking about a lot of really important things today. And I think we need to all be talking about these things more. So
yes,
grazie,
I'm sure.
Grazie infinite.
Grazie a te.